Hi, welcome to Noble Professionals, doing things wrong as rightly as possible. Here we are, we're doing a brake light bypass. Now, I've already installed the first one just to make sure that it works. This is nice. Don't look at that. Now, the most important part here is that we have a drill and drill bits. You'll definitely need these to make this tutorial successful, because if you're like me and for some reason your brake lights don't work, or let's just say that the internal housing that all the bulbs and sockets go on are the worse for wear, and it'd be maybe, let's just say you own a older car it's hard to get parts for. This is for you. Now, this one is installed, this one's not. I've left it as is so I can show you what I've done. I've taken a small drill bit like this that fit the size of the screws that this came with. It comes with a gasket that goes around it that I almost didn't install because I hate gaskets. And what you'll do is you'll first use your drill bit, drill a hole in there, and then you could just thread the screw in, which I did with this rusty Phillips, because why not? And what you'll do, look at the back of this, find out which one is your positive and negative. Now, I don't remember where I left off, but to drill into plastic, I would not ever just put the screws in there. Even if you get self-tapping screws like this, you run a very high chance of cracking the plastic, making this whole thing an even more expensive repair. We're doing this because this is non-expensive. This whole thing cost me $4 at AutoZone, and it comes with ground wire, these two screws, this plate, the rubber gasket, and this light. Now, what I was saying before, I remember negative and positive. Now, I got a cheap one that didn't come with any instructions at all, and it doesn't say which one's negative and positive. So, what I did to find out is I just ran the ground to the battery, and I just poked around with the live wire until I found out which one was right. Do not do that because it's bad. You could probably shock yourself, probably fry this light. But I'm going to go on ahead. I'm going to do it just to show you what not to do. And here we are. Now, we have our test wire, a wire that I specifically have just for doing irresponsible things like playing with electricity. We're just going to rest that in there. Now, this ground wire is nice enough to come with an actual plug on the end of it that actually fits into here. So we plug it in. Now, I have no clue if this is negative or positive, so we're going to take this little wire that they have barely any exposed of, but I don't have any wire trimmers. I don't care enough, so I'm just going to put it there and lock it in between here and here. Hopefully that's a good enough ground. Now, if this works, it'll cut on. If not, well, the light came on for a second, but the ground is loose, so it's not going to work as well as it should. Just going ahead and rest that power wire in there, like so. Be careful, because this is probably dangerous, especially when it falls out. That's on there. It's not my ground that's loose. It's not the power wire that's loose either. Why is it not coming on? It just came on a second ago. It's not shocking or coming on. I wonder if the light in this is bad. Okay, well, I don't know how or why, but my terminal They're both connected. This light's not coming on, so there's a problem with this light. Now, I went and grabbed my second light, just to be sure. Here we are. We have it right. It cuts on whenever I connect the ground. So we know which one is our ground and which one's our live. And if you mix it up, okay, I switched the power and the ground wire. See what happens. Nothing, because the power wire just fell out. So we're going to secure that ground in there. That's in the terminal of the battery. And it works. Why does it work? I switched them. Okay, apparently this is what's known as a non-binary light fixture. It's not negative or positive, which is wild, because the last time I tried that with this one, made a bunch of sparking. There's no telling. So either one of these is negative or positive. Now that we know that everything is confusing and nothing is real, electricity is a myth, we can put this in here the way that we want it to. Nice. So this is going to just pop in here, but first I need to drill a hole here in the middle of this and here where these prongs are, so I can feed the wires in from the other side. And there we have it, plastic shavings and a nice little hole. Now we're going to figure out, make sure that this fits. It does. It goes in the hole. Now, in order to get a precise measurement on exactly how far this one is away from that one, so I don't mess up and have to re-drill new holes like I did last time, we're just going to do some guessing work. That was quick. Now first, we have to find our power source. I've already ran one because of the other light that I have installed. And what I have it ran to is my upper brake light, which still works for some unknown reason. But if it did not, I would have to run a wire from here all the way up to the brake switch underneath the pedal, which would not be fun. I really do not want to do that. So I got lucky that this one works and these two do not. Now, this is never before seen on YouTube, so just pretend that you never saw this before. But here's my messy trunk. Here is my wire that's ran through the middle, if you could see. I just have it ran in there, and it goes up into that. So when I depress my brakes, this comes on. So we left off talking about the trunk. Here's the wire that I ran, like I said. Here's an intersection point. It's already cut and trimmed and put back together with electrical tape. What I'm going to do is professionally take a lighter and burn this end of this off. Because I don't have wire trimmers. I could do this with my teeth, but I don't want to. I like my teeth. And we're done with one end. Wish my camera would focus. As you can see, this end I did with my teeth. Should have done the other end. This wire is apparently actually really thick, and it was hard to burn. Plus it also smells nasty. So I advise you to just get some wire clippers, trimmers, whatever you want to tell them, and don't use a lighter or just use your teeth. Now for demonstrative purposes, I've cleaned out some of the stuff out of my trunk and threw it on the ground. Now here's what we have here. First, we have our power wire. Second, we need our ground wire. The easiest way to ground is to ground in to the wiring harness that's already here. As you can see, we have two black wires. One of them is a ground. In this case, this one also had two ground wires. So I just kind of went for whichever one looked like a ground wire. This wire is thicker than the other one, so we're going to go with this one on the other side too, the thicker one. Due to unforeseen circumstances of rain, this video will be suspended. Maybe. What I've done is I've burned off some of the wire for the ground wire. That way I don't have to snip and reclip. So we're going to tie this up. And I have my electrical tape. And we'll be back in a second. And there we have it. Our ground wire is now connected in. So we'll take this off here. And this is the entire board for my car, for all my lights back here. I'll take this little dingle hopper here, stick it in through one of the holes that we made. Uh-oh. I seem to have goofed myself. I should have stuck it in through the other end first. This end's too big. Now I have to undo it and then redo it. Do it right this time. First, we're going to stick this through after you braid your tip. And with the tip braided, we'll just slide this little piece in through. Always put the smaller piece in first. Usually works a lot better for you. Now we're going to stick our power wire through. God, I barely made this hole big enough too. Always make sure your hole's big enough for your wire to come through. In this case, it just barely is. Nice. So we've got our ground connected here. We've got our live wire connected here. This is how we're going to test it. With a handy dandy cinder block, we can come around and see. Nothing. Why? Fixed it. As you can see, this one's lit. This one's lit. So what we're going to do, we're going to see if this lights or just lights up. It works. And there you have it. Brake light bypass tutorial. Lit, lit, lit. Thank you for watching.